I guess we can call to order. So I'd like to call our meeting to order. I want to welcome our first select woman, Martha, for coming. Thank you so much. And I know we have in the audience Jack Pergosa. Yes, sir. Who's bringing a new business to town. And the other gentleman is?
My name's Tom McDonald.
Okay.
My wife and I just bought a house here a couple of years ago. And I'm just trying to find out what you guys are doing and things like that.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
Oh, we appreciate that. I see another member of the public coming. I'm trusting that this is Trenton, right?
Yeah.
Oh, how do you do?
Hi,
Trent?
good.
So Trenton is interested in joining the commission. So my co-chair Jeff had suggested we maybe have him come sit at the table. If you'd like to come up and sit with us. That's where you get the full experience, so you can confirm it. You can confirm your decision. And online, we have Eileen Mueller. And I don't think there's any other members of the public online. Eileen, you have fulfilled the requirement of one person at least logged in to make the system work. So you've already contributed to the meeting.
Excellent.
And also present, besides myself, Joe Camion, we have Cheryl Poyer. We have our other committee members, Scott, Madeline, Mona, and my co-chair, Jeff. And Wendy. Hi, welcome. I didn't see an email saying you weren't coming.
I know, right? It's amazing.
It
wasn't true.
You've been living afar.
Yes, I have. I know.
Okay. Public comment. We have the new business. Jack, you're on for the, if you will, our discussion of new business, because very appropriate for a new business guy, make you new business. For the other member of the public, if there's any comment.
Here to listen.
Okay, well, we'll try to be communicative.
Motion if the gentleman with the new business wanted to present early rather than waiting for the end of our meeting, can we give him that option?
We could do that. Yeah.
Would you like to go early?
Not mind.
Okay.
Sure.
To make this quick,
Great.
I showered and shaved and I smell okay, so we're good. Where would you like me to go? Where is your appropriate place for me to see?
We've got it, you can sit down or we got a podium.
Right here is fine.
Whatever's comfortable. I don't mind sitting. Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Jack Pergosa. I am the owner. I'm sorry. Jack Pergosa, P as in Peter, Ragosa.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am the owner, operator, founder of EREG Enterprises, an umbrella corporation who owns several sub-entity corporations underneath it, one of them being Epic Pizza LLC. I am a new entrepreneur to the Shoreline, about 5.5 years now. I originally come from the Hartford area. I was in the technology, security, telecommunications business for many, many, many years, 30 plus years. I retired from that industry in 2019. I was the global vice president of operations for TelAid in Niantic. I worked for the Pat Seega family. I ran 6 offices. I had a $500 million budget and about 147 employees under me globally. So when I come to town to do something the right way. I do things very professional. I address people professional. I act in professional format, and I demand the same respect. I didn't receive that here. Okay. I received death threats. I received text messages. I received drunken phone calls from selectmen and other people that got the news and the media and the Attorney General's office involved, which was not the appropriate way to welcome me, nor my son, who's an airman from the Air Force, who's arriving here in 3 weeks from Okinawa, Japan, who's going to be the runner, operator, and owner of Epic Pizza. Okay. So I came here to set the record. I came here to put a face and a name. I gave you guys all my personal card, my personal email. I don't have anything to be afraid of because I don't cut corners. Okay. I'm putting well $1 million into this. I'm putting 1.6 million into my med spa that's going into Old Saybrook. So right now, simultaneously, I have $2.8 million invested into the shoreline, be it 284 Shore Road and 725 Boston Post Road. I am also the owner, operator, and founder of Epic Real Estate Group Property Management, in which I adhere to Charlie Potts, the rectory, the church, all the businesses in the area. I do a lot of philanthropy in the area. I do a lot of legwork in the area for people, and I help a lot of elderly people condition their homes for when they're conditioning into where they can't do things, and we help. So very entrenched in the community, very entrenched in Old Saybrook, very entrenched all the way from Madison to Westerly, and my reviews speak for themselves online. So the purpose that I wanted to do today is I went ahead and had my staff and myself kind of give you guys an outline of what we're doing. I gave you guys visuals. Everything is brand new. Everything is to code. Not one piece of equipment is being reused. The oven, we went with the most top of the line electric to the point where the electricity upgrade on the building is costing me more than the oven. Okay. We have an architectural firm. We pulled the B100. We had some changes earlier today. We are a alcohol-free establishment. I will not be supporting alcohol, and not in my lifetime, not for any amount of money. So don't think of it. Don't ask me for it. It will not happen. Okay. I have a son who's been sober now for 130 something days. I don't drink alcohol or consume alcohol, not because I have a problem. I just don't believe it has purpose in my life from a holistic approach. This business here is focused on energy, efficiency, and speed. And it's based on feeding the community on an efficient format, not a greed of what pizza has become. No one should be paying 30 something dollars for a cheese pizza. I'm sorry. I've eaten in Sapporo. I've eaten everywhere. And just because the economy is what it is does not mean you cannot put a cheese pizza out for 17, 18 bucks. Okay. There's no reason why I can't feed the community on an efficient manner. We are doing a 2-man team with one part-time person. We're doing a seasonal, call it a tiki bar, but it's not a tiki bar. It swings. It's going to have protein shakes, coffee tails, mocktails, frozen drinks, and it's going to be a place for people to eat. And I might even be doing sushi. Not quite sure yet. But the point of the matter is there's no flame, there's no fire, there's no grease. Everything is 100% clean health, clean fuel, no LP, clean burning, everything to the way it's supposed to be. And the purpose behind the project, we're opening 5. So this is the first of 5. And we're looking to do things on a small square foot basis with high efficiency and high volume. So that's why this 1,000 square foot kitchen that you see in front of you has almost $200,000 of equipment in it, including a $65,000 European stove called the Moretti that's being imported right now as we speak, that requires 90 amps of voltage just to operate clean power. So in saying all that, our goal, some of you guys might have saw me on the news, some of you guys might have not. I am aligned with Ann Nyberg and the Children's Hospital in Yale. I was on the news December 18th for doing the toy drive. I had 2 vans of toys at the Starbucks in Old Saybrook. I donated 2 huge vans of toys to the old Shoreline community as well. And I'm big on philanthropy and children. So in saying that, I'm going to be employing college kids, local kids. I'm going to be geared towards people with families who have kids who want to feed their families affordably. I want to be able to feed a family of 4 for $39.99. That's what I want to do. Okay. And I think the way I'm doing it, and I don't need money. Okay. I need to create a legacy, a lineage of what's going to be left when I'm behind. And that's my son, my family, and my name. So my son's coming into the area. He's going to be the person that's going to be walking my shoes. He's military. He's active. He's coming out now. He's a good boy. He's a real good boy. He's 32 years old, so he's not a kid. And he's coming with his game on, A-face, and he's looking to do what Dad's been doing for a long time, but he's looking to take it to the next level. And I think anybody in here as a parent, you couldn't be happier when your kid does something and spring forward your energy. Okay. I have a lot of energy, but I also have 14 companies. So I do everything from renovation to property management. I have $1.3 million owed to me right now in Old Lyme. I'm the mortgage company that was on 5 Swan. I was the mortgage company on 47 Hartford Avenue that had that whole convoluted conversation where they thought I was coming in to angle to buy the building when the building needed to be demolished and they owed me $300,000. That was a misconfusion with the town. So there's been a lot of things that have been happening that I've been really filtering through and being positive and moving forward. And that's what I continue to do. That's why I'm glad that this gentleman here took the time to reach out to me. He linked in me. He opened me up with open arms. And like I said, it's official. We're friends. So moving forward, another thing too. So my personal assistant that runs my household and my animals when I travel is Susan Fontanella. She runs your archives here in town. She lives over on Beaverbrook, and she's also someone that's part of my organization as well. So I have Old Lyme residents, seniors that also work for me. So in saying that, the pizza business is just one thing. It's going to get up the right way. It's going to work the right way. It's going to stand up the right way. But the bigger picture here is the community. Okay. I can't stress enough that a community needs to communicate effectively. A community needs to talk effectively, and it needs to be open-doored effectively, not emotional. Okay. Because there's been a lot of emotion on Portland Avenue and Hartford Avenue and stuff that I've been dealing with that I don't think needs to be emotional. So in saying that, my background, as you are aware, I'm a technology, security, telecommunications specialist. I've designed telecommunications, pro audio, all this stuff that you guys paid a lot of money for. I would have donated my time to help you. So in saying that, from an economic development perspective, as a business owner, I do have time to help. I designed the police department in Old Lyme. I've done work, in Old Saybrook. I've done work for the DOJ, the DOD. There's not much that I can't do, especially looking at your 2 telecommunications cabinets with your wireless right there that you paid to have done. Knock on my door, email me. I can help. I can help any way I can. It's a community. I'm here. I'm staying. My grandkids are going to be here. My son's going to be here. He's going to be living on the 2nd floor above the pizza place. That's going to be his residence until he finds a girlfriend, and then he's going somewhere in Old Lyme. And I might be leaving Old Saybrook and coming to Old Lyme, to be honest. So in saying that, I appreciate everybody bringing me in. I hope that you understand that I'm above board, no cut corners. I think my presentation, the drawings, my professionalism, my wallet has spoken that. I apologize for the big sign. I was under the impression that a sign on a trailer registered mimicked a box truck. And unfortunately, Old Lyme has different signage rules. So I did adapt to the temporary sign permit. Mr. Knapp did approve that, and the trailer has been vacated, and I am in compliance with that. That was a hiccup. I apologize for that. That was something that an employee did not shut off when I was out of country, but it's been addressed and the permits have been pulled and everything has been pulled as of yesterday. Everything is in queue now. So in saying that, I'm here. I'm part of the community. Lean on me. Ask me a question. Send me an email. I'll give it to you straight. No filtering, transparency, honesty. I'll open the books. I have nothing to hide. I just want to be accepted fairly as a businessman, an entrepreneur, and someone that's willing to do philanthropy in the community. That's cool with you guys. That's cool with me. That's it. That's all I ask for. I ask for fairness.
All right. Well, thank you for making an
appreciate
investment
that.
in our town. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
investing.
And one of the things that you guys can talk about, I will go ahead and donate $1,000 today. You can put it on record in free pizza to any youth activity that will generate youth sports or youth something. So
Thank you.
the minute that I'm open, the minute that my pies are coming out, you guys have $1,000 where you guys can do a pizza party or something, charge $1 a slice. I don't care. Do something with the money. It makes no difference to me because I need more write-offs than I need anything else this year. So not an issue. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
I have
apologize.
a couple of questions. for
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
But I would say it would be more appropriate for you to directly give your pizza donation to the Little League or whatever. For ethics reasons, we can't have money come in and go out.
No, and I wasn't looking as cash. I was looking as something of substance that would generate something like a donation. Like, for example, I was in Miami 3 weeks ago. I bought a Romero Brito. I don't know if you guys know who Romero Brito is. He's a world-renowned artist. I have a huge painting column on track. I'm doing a silent auction with a couple of friends of mine who are donating planes and yachts and all that stuff. We're donating all the money to children's health and mental health. So in this situation, if you guys come up with something or send something my way, it's fine, but I'll do it any way you want.
Your generosity is very clear. I want to make sure you understand that. That is very clear and very appreciated. But just on that one point, we can give you the names
Sure.
of some contacts at the youth leagues, like the Little League and I don't know, spring soccer or whatever the case might be. And you can connect with them directly. I'm sure they would love your offer.
I would love to do that.
I
As
have
well
a-
as sponsor a team too, as well.
Yeah. Oh, they would love that. Little League just opened May 1st or something like that. So
Perfect.
questions about the pizza place.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your expected open date?
We were
From a marketing
aggressively,
perspective.
no, we were aggressively trying to be open for like the second week of June. And unfortunately, you just can't rush perfection. You're just not going to do it. There's too many things going on with fuel surcharges, design work, people doing all these things. The biggest expense that I'm enduring right now is my med spa. So that for me is priority. So that is opening in 6 weeks, guaranteed. The pizza place, I'm now shooting probably for July 4th weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm probably a month behind right now. At the end of the day, it's just a house. If you look at it, it's just a 3-bedroom apartment with a small kitchen. Really, what makes the girth of the building is the equipment that's going in it, not the building. Because we're not doing any open flame, we're not doing any LP, we're not doing any kind of hood. The septic and the grease trap is already there in compliance. Everything we're doing is electrical, and we are even doing a cadence on Monday with Eversource because we're bringing in 400 amp service, which is, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to run clean power and you're going to do something at that high level and draw that kind of amperage, especially in a season, you want to make sure you're clean. So that's happening. So we're clean burning, clean all the way, and it's going to be as productive as possible.
So just a sidebar, if you need any help as a liaison, talking to the fire, making sure the fire marshal building, whatever, it seems like you know how to do that well. So, but I'm going to just leave that.
No, I can touch on that real quick. So Mr. Robiage, Mr. Knapp, Julie, everybody in the town, Mr. Whalen, Benetti, everybody has been on a 3-month email trajectory of copying. So everybody's very well involved with what happened, what's been going on, the misconfusion and everything. So everything's been cleared up through email. So that's
Perfect. Okay. But we're here for that kind of assistance. If you have to go before zoning, come visit us again, and perhaps we, decide together on a letter of support or to go to a public hearing. That's the kind of thing, one of the kind of things.
Don't think that's the case here, because my understanding from my lawyers and the accountants and everybody in the architects is it was a pre-existing business that closed in 2022. So it went per the 22 NFPA 59 standards. And what happened is the standards changed in ANSEL and fire protection and boundaries. So the way that the kitchen was set up is, if you look at the building, there's only 2 feet of boundary on the left side, but then there's 30 feet between the Dimitri building and my building. I had to completely shift the kitchen from the left to where it was to put it all the way to the right. And in doing that, I already made an agreement to buy Dimitri's building. So I already knew that my kitchen was going that way. So everything has been done, taking in the NFPA, the 79, because Mr. Robiage, when we first had the initial discussion of me buying the building, he made it very clear exactly what was going to be required. And that's all been met through the plans and specs that's been submitted. And
Excellent.
if anybody wants a copy, I have them all in DWG or PDF. I can email them to anybody who wants them, but the town does have them.
So other ways that this commission can help you is that we do have a website, Explore Old Lyme, and we list restaurants on there, and visitors can look at that and they link straight through to your website, which I assume is right here.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to pay attention for when you go live, and we'll put you on for that. We also have these little trifolds, and it's by part of town and Soundview area. We'll make sure you're on there for the season once you're ready to go. And we do support ribbon cuttings and that sort of celebration. So if you want to pursue that, you have your friend Jeff, get in touch with him and we'll figure that out.
I was out of town last week, so I had people attend the meeting at the community center on Thursday. And some people were in there, including Ms. Pearson, Mr. Murat, and a couple of other people. And they did explain that as soon as we get to that, there was going to be a collective thing to do a ribbon cutting, which I know it doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you're starting and standing up a business and you're trying to market and dial into everybody in every audience, you need everything you can get. You need Instagram, Facebook, trajectory, old print, anything you can get to get your name out there. So I appreciate it.
And it's one of the few ways that we can call out an individual business by having an event surrounding your opening. So
you guys have like a business liaison that you offer to anybody coming in that has 30 plus years of mechanical, electrical, plumbing that could help them in a 2-hour audit of what they plan on doing to put them on the right track. Have you ever had that offer to any of your people? Because I would love to be that person. If you guys feel my credentials are needed, and if you guys ever want to pass my info on to someone, I have 30 plus years of building hospitals, casinos. I've done everything from civil to plumbing, and I know my way around construction. So You have some of these people that want to open up a little coffee shop and they're cute and they're great and they know coffee, but then they get into the minutia of real estate and they're lost and they're freaking out and they're going, oh my God, I'm offering that. I have no problem if you guys ever have a client that comes in here and because I'm going to tell you the story. A lot of people on the other side of the state want to come here. They do. There's a lot of people with a lot of money wanting to come to the shore. They're afraid. A lot of people are afraid because the shore has this stigma that it's so difficult to do business as a small entrepreneur that unless you're someone of larger caliber, big real estate firm, architectural firms like an auto parts or a hospital, no one wants to play in the arena. And I can guarantee you that I know at least a half a dozen people from that area that have come down here and literally have ran back the other way. That's the truth. And that's why I think from an economic development standpoint, someone who's been chasing business on a global level, not only here, who's expanding and done a lot of different things, that little girl with the coffee shop, the person with the hair salon, we need more of that. We want more of that, but we want to make it easier for them to adapt to technology and what's needed. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, they're good at cutting hair. They're not good at building offices or buildings. So someone free as a liaison that I wouldn't charge just to help the community. It generates it generates foot traffic. It generates more consistency in tax revenue, sales tax. It generates more foot traffic. It generates jobs. I would love to help. Just saying. And I'll put that in writing. I don't have any, what I'm saying here is 100 verbatim on camera. If I'm saying it, I'm willing to do it. And trust me when I tell you, I work 7 days a week and I only sleep 4 hours a night and I always can take on a good project. So if you have something, say something, let me know and I'll get them to the right people. I guarantee it. If I don't have the answer for them, and to me, it's not about the work. It's just about eliminating the confusion and the anxiety of what it is to do something. Because a lot of people think that the municipalities they're not. You're there to help. You just got to find your way through the whole thing. And I think a lot of municipalities right now are adapting to technology and adapting to the permitting process. And they're learning it at the same time that the new people are learning it, which is kind of what happened this weekend with me. So again, any way I could help, I'd love to.
So, and another piece of information for you to
Hey,
keep a lookout for
yes, ma'am.
is that the zoning commission is working on updating the regulations and they're entering the public phase. They are working on a survey that all business owners, residents, property owners are going to be invited to take. And then you have an opportunity to be part of a workshop. I think they're calling it like a focus group or something to give further feedback on what's hard or not hard, what's different doing business here. So I think the kind of feedback based on what you have done is would be valuable to that process.
I appreciate that. I think it'd be valuable to everybody in some way or form, long-term longevity, for sure.
Yeah. Jack, as someone who is quite dynamic, one of the concerns that we've talked about is the methodology of welcoming new businesses to town. If there's any thoughts you have, and I don't ask for a lengthy, prosaic work, but some kind of like a bullet point list of things that should be, like what should be our welcome methodology for a business
It's
proposing to come to town.
small networking group, coffee and cookies, and you just bring all the real estate agents, the commercial people. You bring everybody to have a cadence and just talk about how to grow the community. It's really what it comes down to because, for example, the real estate agents know the spaces that are available. They're the ones that are going to be talking to the people who are coming in wanting to build. So that's a good resource to start with because if an agent is versed, I'm a real estate agent, by the way. So like if an agent's versed and he has the ability to speak intelligently on what a client may or may not need, that's enough information to convince that person to engage forward because now you've done the preliminary of what that person can get into. So there's a lot of things, but I will have no problem. I will send an email to this gentleman here because I have it. I know, Lucky, you're at the end of the table. What do you want? You're sitting at the end of the table, like we're at this dinner, like he's the, but I will get you something that I think could be creative based on my experiences in other areas like New Canaan, Southport and Westport that I've worked very much with. So I can give up some ideas.
Just hold it to bullet points, short and sweet.
One pager.
Good, thank you.
I'm curious
Yes, Wendy.
why you had such a negative reception, let's just say, What do you think?
want the
that
truth?
is? I'm curious. I just want to.
There's a lot of people in town that aren't from town who have big wallets, big companies, and like to be the king of the hill. Okay. And I'm not going to say who those names are, but they live in the front row by Kokomo's. It's all those certain people, the lawsuit guys, the guys who just get to do what they want to do and throw money around. And the problem is if it's not their idea, if it's not their family doing it, they're not going to support it. So for example, 3 years ago, I walked up and I bought 47 Hartford Avenue. That is the old post office, the old candy shop that I paid $160,000 for. Okay. I bought it from 4 people, 4 deeds, 4 family members were fighting. I spent $30,000 cleaning the building out. I painted some front stuff on it. I called it YOLO Beach Shack, and I was off and running to becoming a small boutique hotel that was going to be sort of like a Buffett world. Well, after 6 months of hearing all the communication and the controversy of the neighbors of how they were in opposition to it, it was enough to say to myself that that's not the way that I want to go. I would rather do something subtle like a 4-bedroom condo and do it at that point. When that happened, I put it on the market, and that's when I sold it. When I sold it, I did okay. I financed it. I made 8.5% for 3 years, and I ended up getting what I ended up getting. So in essence, because I had that opportunity, because I jumped in and because I was able to benefit from it, there's going to be haters. And those people weren't supportive of that. And they're still not supportive of it till I'm getting drunk text messages right now. I mean, you want to hear one, I'll let you hear it.
You know what? We're in a public forum and this is going on.
No, I understand this, but there's no swearing or anything. You guys wanted to address it. She asked a question and you're asking kind of what happened. And I'll tell you that at 2:30 in the morning, I got someone on Portland Avenue that owns Mueller Property Management telling me that I'm never going to open it, that you guys are going to hold me back. I have it in black and white in writing. It's nothing that I'm making up. This is exactly what happened. And this has been happening when I bought Swan Avenue. I own Swan, 5 Swan. I worked with Wendy from Ledgely, put a $60,000 septic system in and sold it to a doctor that works for Lawrence Memorial. He pays me every month. So I'm not a stranger to the community. I'm not a stranger to anybody here. It's just that certain people want things done their way and not other way. And not everybody wants to play in the same sandbox. And I'm sorry, the sandbox is made for everybody to play in. Any color, any race, any walk, I don't care what it is. Everybody should have an equal opportunity to do and deem business anywhere that they please if they could so meet the criteria of what the town and the public requires. And a lot of people don't believe in that. Okay. And those are the people that are suing the town right now. They're suing Miami. They're suing the Miami project for the sewers. I hate to say it. There's just no need for that. And another thing that I feel that's happening, it's not just here, it's in any town. We need to be kinder to everybody. We used to say hi to our neighbors every morning, regardless of color, flag, religion. Well, none of us even do that anymore. I want to go back to, how are you? Good afternoon. Open the door. That's why I traveled 475 hours this year and went to almost 14 countries and went to the backwoods of Malaysia and Manila, knowing what real life is about, because people there value life. People here value conflict and confusion. I don't get it. That needs to change in a big way. We need it to be more of a community. We need to be more focused on religion, God, and standing up, not the negativity that everybody wants to push. TikTok, Instagram, that nonsense. I'm good. Sorry, went on a tangent there. I apologize.
So, we thank you for your comments, Jack. And,
Thank you.
We stand available to help you succeed in your business.
And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys hearing me out. I do know that it's a small platform. I did get a lot of information out. I do talk a mile a minute. I apologize for that. But I just want everybody to understand it's good intention. It's positive. It's professional. I'm a man of my word. I stand behind my word and I'm here for the long term. It's that simple. So thank you for your time.
Thanks for coming
Very
in.
much. And I'll leave everything for everybody and I will send you that email. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice meeting you, sir.
Okay. Our next order on the agenda is our Board of Select Persons input on our strategic plan. Martha, you certainly can sit at the table. You own it.
I pay for the glass. So I read through this with great interest. So I just, if I can kind of go page by page, some of the things
Yes.
that I saw. The only thing on the vision statement, I didn't know if you had any thought of adding anything about our access to Amtrak and Shoreline East, because I didn't see that, but I didn't know if it was just possibly pulling in too much of possibly from Old Saybrook. So that was on page 2.
As part of the vision.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, when we talk about, our housing market and, I just I've got to go back, Cheryl. I just wrote it down.
Yeah.
On page thoughts of adding anything about access to easy Amtrak to access in the Shoreline East. That was just one thought.
Under vision number 3, Old Lyme is positioned. Maybe leave that in there.
Well, probably I would say it's not on our vision because don't have a vision as far as Amtrak. It's more like one of our benefits instead of our vision, maybe.
I'm just saying that people who are reading this might want to know that they
Oh,
can
just
easily-
having a comment.
that they can
under number
easily,
three.
Just a comment that
that they
Yeah.
can get on the train in
and you can be in
nearby.
Boston
Yeah.
Right.
from where we are.
On the second, on page 5, which is your first promotion and marketing, I love that, you want to review and update ctvisit.com. I think that's possible. I mean, I think that's definitely a positive. I also just want you to know that Rivercog has recently, begun a calendar of events that it's called their community calendar. It's also a great resource for us where you can add things to there so that more people are seeing it from the various areas nearby. And Katie has the information from Rivercog on how to get to that. I love that you're going to update Explore Old Lyme annually. You mentioned doing printing. I just like to know to remind you to utilize CCM for printing because they give us some a discount. Loved everything you had to say under social media. And then I do have a question at the end where we talk about where does the Greater Saybrook of Chamber fit in at the bottom? I mean, as far as marketing ideas, attracting visitors, our businesses, where does that fit into our plan?
Do we have anything about lab? Oh, I mean, it's just collaboration, I guess. I mean, we collaborate with a number of organizations, I would think.
Well, are we a member of the Greater Saybrook of Greater Saybrook? Chamber of Commerce? Well, then, I mean, I don't know, just thought that if we pay a yearly fee to them, that maybe we let people know that that's part of what we do because we don't have our own chamber.
Can I ask you a question on social media? What's the town's position on having an Instagram page to promote the town? We have Facebook.
We do have a social media policy,
Mhm.
which we worked really hard on because in the past, some groups have gone off to create their own things. We'd like it to stay under town hall.
Mhm.
If you'd like us to perhaps connect our Facebook and Instagram pages, that's something that we certainly can do. I know that Cheryl does a great job of adding things to our Town of Old Lyme page. But one of the things that we do sort of we stand firm, no comments on our pages. So we always click the no comment unless we mention somebody like emergency management or the Old Lyme Fire Department. They can say something.
Does your office have time to add Instagram to your social media?
That I believe that most of our things on Facebook now you can click to an Instagram account at the same time that you click to Facebook. So anything you paste to Facebook can go to Instagram, but we do not have an Instagram account.
Right,
Which
okay.
would mean that we would have to create it and click twice versus once.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know anything on my Facebook page automatically goes to my Instagram. So I think we can do it if it's done. Then we talked about just and I want you to know that for your branding, signage and everything yesterday, had to go over to Chester for something, and I got off the highway in Chester at exit 8. And that beautiful sign that you get when you land off Chester, which tells you where to go, and it's just so beautifully done. And I thought, this is what they mean by having signage that represents our town so well.
Exactly.
So I thought that was great. I do note to remind you that anything that you post along the historic district, that you'll of course need approval. And I would certainly suggest that you start the conversation before you get to a C of A to get some ideas of what exact they like. Let's see. The other, I mean, I have stars and things where I think website plugins, things like that. And then the only thing at the new business mentorship program on page 7, I just wondered if you talked to the mentoring corps at all, to have any conversations with them.
The mentoring core, I have not. I've talked with the high school's school to career people.
So mentoring corps meets here every other Friday. They're here every Friday morning from like 9 to 11. I think that if you wanted to get on one of their agendas and just talk to them, they're a wonderful group of people who volunteer their time for many types of purposes in the line. But I'm not sure who the chair is at the moment.
Sure, we've talked about them before. They're like SCORE, yeah. They tried to help us in the past with a project 3 or 4 years ago, but yeah, that is on the list to definitely talk to them.
Do they meet on Fridays? What time?
Usually between 9 and 11. It sometimes changes. It used to be every week. They've tended to go more every other week now. And then sometimes a lot of people in summer take breaks, so you have to check. On page 8, I'd love it if the new sluice way was the picture versus the old one.
What?
The new sluice way, this is the old sluice way. I'd love it if the new one went up and was on there instead of the old one, because it would just be a better representation of what we can do. I love that you'll support applications at public hearings and P and Z. Then also when you talk about on page 9, building actionable plans, please remember the sidewalk committee for Halls Road is up and running. Tim Griswold is the chair, if you wanted to do that. And then I just also thought that perhaps those pictures, I'm not sure where, I'm sure the historic house is somewhere here in Old Line. Oh, actually, I know it's the Old Lyman. But again, maybe a picture, if it's commercial district, maybe we could have a picture of either Soundview or Halls Road on that.
So we have a photographer in June and August.
Oh, good.
Taking business photography to replace them.
Great. And then I just noticed on page 10, and I know this was done in December, but I believe Eileen needs to be added to your list of people.
Yes.
Other than that, I loved everything. I didn't,
Eileen and Madeline.
what?
Eileen and Madeline.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. I was updating quickly. So do you have any questions for me?
I guess the big question is the issue of, does the town, and I have to look to you, Martha, and the select person's board, does the town want us to be a bedroom community, or does the town want us to bring commercial, employers to town? It's kind of a big question.
And Martha, maybe I can add to that. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It probably, I'll take responsibility for this, because when I joined the commission, Cheryl was great and everybody's been great and sending me information, and I'm trying to absorb information for what are we trying to achieve? How is it aligned with what the vision is that's coming from our selectmen, the leadership, and the townspeople? Because clearly there are some projects that get kicked around and they can generate a lot of energy from the townspeople, whether or not they want it or they don't want the project. And then we were talking about the fact that there was encouragement based on some budget numbers for the Economic Development Commission to try and help grow the commercial tax base. So I just started asking questions like, what is the vision that the leaders have for our town? And when you go back and you read the Planning Commission document, it basically says, maintain a small town character while providing for limited growth consistent with the need to preserve natural, cultural, and historic resources. So I guess I was looking for some direction from the leaders to say, what are the hopes or expectations that you'd like to see for the town itself? And is that aligned with the townspeople so that the commission can help to materialize or realize that?
So I think that there are some commercial areas for light industrial or manufacturing, like Vista Drive, Hatchett's Hill. And I think that unless you drive or you go to those areas for a doctor's appointment or because you have a reason to go up in that area, you don't realize what is there. You don't realize the amount of vacant buildings that could be generating some tax dollars. When I see people concerned about taxes online, I think, well, Melinda, our assessor, will tell you our commercial properties are paying less and less because they're not filled. There's no one there, and we need to fill those spaces. These were vibrant spaces. When years and years ago, Project Learn had the entire first and second floor of 10 Vista Drive, and it was extremely active in there. And then they built their own facility over on Hatchett's Hill, which was fine. I worked for a small company over on Vista Drive. They're still there. And there were other companies that came in. There was a kayak company and things doing light manufacturing, nothing heavy duty, nothing environmentally wrong. In fact, they used to contribute all their plastic to me to take to the Trex people at Big Y. So I think that it would be wonderful if we could fill some of those spaces. I think it's extremely important that we bring that back because it's jobs creation. It will help with our tax base. Some of the buildings might need to be updated a little bit, but they're there and great for a startup. Great parking, great lighting. It's a safe environment. I think it has some real positives. And I think it's important that we push to encourage that in those spaces. And I can tell you that people on planning and zoning are both constantly watching. Northeast Capital Realty still has that the Hideaway Marketplace is still under contract, although we know no real information, but it says it's under contract. What changes are going to be done there? We know that the building needs upgrades, a facelift, whether it can be saved, but there have been people that have mailed us pictures of safety concerns there. Mark Wayland and Dave Roberge go over and check if there's anything serious. So we want to encourage businesses to stay in our area. We certainly, I know we don't want a warehouse. We're not going to look for an Amazon warehouse. We're not going to look for any of that. That's not what we are, but there are startup companies that we could be a great home to start them up. And they don't have to be employing 200 people. If they employed 20 people, it would be wonderful. And, we have kids that are getting out of college. Some would like to come home to stay, but there's really no options here unless you're a teacher or if you want to be an engineer at EB. I mean, But if we could offer some things in IT or get some startups, and I've had people come in, developers who've come in and said, you know, we'd like to build a project for a company, such a company. And then they said they'd like all glass walls. I said, you can do anything you want inside, but I want it to look colonial. I want it to look New England on the outside. Do a facade that looks New England, then put all the glass inside. And they were like, okay, we'll figure it out.
So do they go before zoning, that sort of scenario?
Lots of times they just have some ideas and they have a potential spot. And they more come in to say, what do you think? And they sit down with Eric and I and we kind of bat it around. They don't always have a signed contract, but they have an idea. And I know they already have their financing. I'm not going to wait, but I know that they're solid people that would like to do something. And some have gone other places. We lack things like walkability, because if they bring someone into their business for a meeting or something, there's no how, we have the old Lime Inn. And so they could house someone there, but if somebody wants to walk from there to go to dinner or whatever, there isn't a lot of choices. And I know, so they get frustrated there. How do we encourage people to come here when they can't get from here to there? So we don't even have like a Airbnb, not an Airbnb, but a B&B. We don't have a B&B anymore. We used to have Bee and Thistle. So it's just those little things that could be done that might give us some more opportunities. It doesn't have to change the way we look. It just means we create opportunities within our framework. And people get scared of change here, especially. I don't think it has to be a bad thing. It just has to be guided with some parameters in place.
I think you've answered my question.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That was what I was looking for. Thanks, Martha.
Yeah.
Is there a
Okay.
priority? Would you say there is, what would be some of the things that you talked about, the walkability? Okay, there are some projects ongoing. The sidewalk project will certainly help with that. Is there a priority to say, focus on small businesses that might be on Halls Road versus, businesses in the light industrial area? I mean, I'm not saying that we can't cast a broader net, but
I think
putting together a package of also, here is Old Lyme. Here's what our demographics are. Here's what foot traffic to the area would look like. Here's what, I don't even know if we have any kinds of incentives that we can offer.
Well, that's a good thing that we could talk about, but I will tell you, I've always been impressed, and it was many years ago, and I'm sure it's pretty much the same, but on my first visit ever to Hilton Head, where they have a sign, no signs are over, I think it's 5.5 feet. They're all made of natural wood. They all sort of much have the same light things. They have same colors. Even McDonald's has no golden arches and is just a wooden sign with the word McDonald's written with their gold paint that they chose for colors. It really looks nice. Now, you're never probably going to get Halls Road to look like that, which is really our commercial district, but it would be so nice if there were more restrictions on signage, how high, how bright, and those things. I mean, we've all been on the highway and you get off at a highway stop and you see all the gas stations or whatever. And, it's not welcoming. I mean, if we're traveling to Florida or DC and you're on the highway, those aren't the welcoming communities that you want to go into. We want ours to look welcoming. We want them to go shop at the Bowerbird or get off at Big Y to do shopping if they're going to their beach house at the shoreline that they've rented for a week. So we want to encourage people to shop here, eat here, et cetera. And it certainly, I've heard it every single time I've campaigned, and that's 3 times. Will you please do everything in your power to find a restaurant that doesn't serve pizza? No offense, but we have a lot of pizza in this town. And nothing against our epic new person, but we need to create another type of restaurant that's not, and encourage someone to come. And I know it's hard to find help too. So whatever.
Martha, I have a question for you. We have looked at the tax revenue that comes from the different business areas, and I know that the industrial spaces are fairly comparable to Halls Road, but you're saying that they've decreased over the years. How would we know what's open, what's available? I drive that area fairly often, and I don't even see any big for lease, for sale, for rent signs. So I didn't even know that. I thought all of that space was potentially full. How did we know that?
I'm pretty sure that if you get off exit 71 and you go right, Vista Drive is right there on the left.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there's a for lease sign up on it. It was
Yeah,
there.
but
There
that's
is.
that's kind of there like always. So I just figured it was, so the whole building is for.
Yeah, they used to have WB Mason was there that rented space. There used to be, they just recently got a tutoring service. They moved in to an upper space on one of the buildings. We have, a doctor's unit there. Pepperidge Farm has a warehouse there, but there is empty spaces. I think building number 6 is pretty much completely vacant. That's where WB Mason was. And how to work with that owner to encourage someone to go there. Maybe it would be nice if the EDC took a tour.
Is
what-
that the RICO?
Yes. Reedco under Mary. Who's the property manager. And then I believe too that the building on the opposite side, on the corner of Hatchett's Hill, when you are across from Colton Lane, if up on the hill, that glass building, part of that is rented right now, I believe, to Amtrak while they have the bridge project here. But the other part of the building, there's lease availabilities there as well. And that's a beautiful, more modern building. But again, available space, what's there? How can we put that out there? I'm not a realtor, so I don't know. There are, you're surprised, right? You go down Hatchett's Hill, and if you take rights and lefts, you find all these businesses that are there that you didn't even know were there. And many of us don't take the time to travel those little obscure streets and inlets to see what's there.
One piece of information that might be helpful is what is the split between commercial tax revenue and residential tax revenue in town? And what was it, for example, if everything there was occupied, how would that impact?
Yeah, what was it pre-COVID versus today?
I was not prepared for that SAT question, but
Well, you can get back to us. We're not a hostile audience.
I can get back to you,
Yes.
but I would have Melinda.
That'd be Melinda.
Melinda would be able to probably answer that in 2.5 seconds.
Exactly. So,
But it is not on the tip of my tongue.
it's just something that, if we could find that out, I think it would be helpful.
So in this blue sky world, and you could do one thing to change the business climate, what would you do? If you had control to do it, what would you do to fill the gaps in the Vista Drive and what would-
I guess what I would try to do is maybe try to come up with an incentive plan for small businesses that want to start out in a small community, easy on, easy off to 95. And try to work with them for job fairs, et cetera, that would because that's finding people to come is one of the most important things. To come and work is most important. But I think that anything that the Board of Finance or the Board of Selectmen could do that could help, for a number of years to get you off the ground and going, what can we do to help them come here? Instead of, the Crystal Mall's gone, so there's no place to go there anymore.
Well, I guess I would mention to the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen that, if they have any ideas, who want to come to our future meetings, we would welcome them to come. Tribute.
Yeah, that would be. We'll put our heads together in our spare time.
So Martha, when you hear about new businesses that want to come to town, do you automatically put them in touch with Jeff and Joe or no?
She's called us.
I've called a couple of times that you should follow through on this. If I think it's if, I know it's got potential. There are some that I know that talking to other CEOs in every town, I know they're basically making the rounds. So, I don't know where they're going to land, but we're at a lot of RiverCog meetings together. So we talk. But yes, I do. I've sent emails to Joe and Jeff and said, this person needs to come and talk to you.
Yes.
Yep.
I called.
We have called.
Yes.
We followed up.
You have. And, or send things that, groups that are having meetings and conferences and sent them to both Jeff and Jonathan, anybody, if you want to go. Because I think it's important that I think it's also important that our EDC shows their face at some of these meetings so that we're represented, so that we know we have skin in this game. So I try to get to as much as I can out of this building. But there are some days it's just not possible.
I mean, I guess I don't even know about any of these things. So I guess if there was a way to find out about these events that you want people to participate in, because I don't hear about them.
So what we usually do is if it's any type of a program through RiverCog or CCM, I send to chairs of various committees, depending on what it's about, whether it's IT or and send it out to the chair of those committees and say, this is an opportunity for you or your committee. And I would ask that those chairs forward it on to their committee members.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
What I'm even going to try to do more so is get a calendar going, because having advance notice is the best thing. So if we can that would be helpful if we could.
And Joe, it is good, but I'll tell you, I just got a legislative update meeting and it came in today at like 3:20. We're meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes they don't give you a lot
I
of
know.
notice, but they try their best, but they're pulling stuff together as well. Everybody's working hard in this climate.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any questions? Martha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're sorry that your other two select persons didn't participate.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming. Thank you. so much.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
And you're the only people who got a new employee on the new budget, so.
No pressure on you,
No
Joe.
pressure on us. We have to provide a return on that. We will.
All right.
We will. Okay. So our next agenda item is approval of our April 1st meeting minutes. Is anybody able to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of April 1st, 2026.
I can
Any-
second.
Okay, I need seconds. Any discussion? Discussion? What's the vote? Everybody says aye.
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 Okay, unanimous.
I have to abstain.
Oh, Scott abstained.
Yeah, it wasn't here.
I just. Wendy, are you in abstain? Excuse me.
We have two abstentions.
Great.
The chair's report. I've been away and, for a couple of weeks or more. And I appreciate the teamwork of the EDC to maintain continuity. I'm especially thankful to Jeff for responding to the new business gentleman that came on board. And also Madeline, your work on the zoning regulations is tremendous. Cheryl, I know you're always a dynamo of keeping things rolling. So appreciate all of that. All right, I guess we can move into we've been, well, we've run an hour, which is longer than I normally like our meetings to go. So regarding the strategic plan progress, guess I'm gonna just put it out there, who can report progress, please do. If there's no progress, well, you don't report.
On promotion and marketing, I'm just letting you know, this is supposed to be printed. Supposed to be printed May 10th. My good arm, I'll put it out. I don't know where it is, right there.
You can see it.
It's supposed to be printed May 10th, but I am still waiting to find out about a couple of summer businesses if they're reopening or.
Okay.
Um,
Along with those lines, Cheryl, because I was gonna report this in my commercial district support. Blackhall Outfitters, the new owners rebranded it as Blackhall Marina. It was acquired by a company out of Portland, Maine. DeMillo's Yacht Sales of Portland, Maine took over Blackhall Outfitters' old line. And they're rebranding it as Blackhall Marina now. So probably should help them continue to prosper.
Yeah, they,
Are they
They've been
turning
out-
it into a marine?
well, it's been a marina. So they've just renamed it instead of going, I can see it now, instead of going by Outfitters, it's Blackhall Marina and Paddle Sports.
Oh, and paddle sports.
But
Okay.
they are still selling accessories. Okay, it's got a whole new logo. Thank you, Joe.
So on the second initiative, Eileen and I did some research on signage, font sizes, state highways, local highways, and we're still working on it. So hopefully we'll have something soon to come forward at the next meeting.
Business resource. Cheryl and Scott.
Hold on, I gotta get there.
Yeah, I don't have anything to report for that one, unfortunately.
I have been talking to Craig upstairs and he and Eric are starting to work on the permit process.
Okay.
Like how to lay that out for people. And Madeline, I want to thank you in your document, which I hope we're spending a little time on tonight, because you had some additional ideas to put into that as well. Also, I was gonna report at the end that I was on a panel on the Connecticut Economic Development Association, but one thing that West Hartford, no, Mansfield, Connecticut, so UConn, Mansfield, Connecticut reported is that they have something called the PAL program, which is a project advocate liaison. So someone in economic development or another part of town hall kind of buddies up with a new business and they just make sure that they walk through the permit process. And they got the idea from another town, but he used the person's first name and not the town name. So I don't know what town it was, but project advocate liaison. So I thought that was kind of interesting. If, you two are kind of playing that role to some extent, but they talked a lot about how it's really important to help walk.
So do they have volunteers or is it a town employee?
It's like commissioners and that sort of thing.
Really?
I'm gonna get some more information on that.
Thank you. All right, economic development and land use processes, Mona and Madeline.
I honestly haven't had a chance to look over your 11-page review. So if you'd like to cover it, I can only tell you the basics from the meeting.
I don't have the meeting stuff, but that would be helpful. Really, it's just I think 2 meetings ago, we talked about like, here's the kind of themes that I had seen in it. And so this report takes those themes and then says like, okay, if we were going to make some suggestions, here's what those suggestions could be based on like what's in the market. right now, and that balances that competing priority with having a, community that feels like Old Lyme. So there's a lot in there. I think my thought is like we should probably pick a handful of items in there that we feel really strongly about, so that we can kind of zone in on those and really advocate for those. And I think the last one, so there's a bunch of stuff. I think the first, I want to say 6 points is all about like, okay, here's a regulation and here's the impact that it's having if we don't change it. And then I think point 7 is here's a bunch of more proactive stuff we can put in place for business that is from a growth perspective. So
I think this is the single most important thing that we can do.
Yes.
Because of what Martha just said and then playing a role. So I appreciate you and Mona taking leadership on this, but I think this is very important. And somehow we should carve out some meaningful time to review this and make edits and changes. When do we need to submit the comments by?
well, the answer to
Well,
that.
that was the interesting thing because they ended up having a whole bunch of permits going on at the last meeting. And I'm glad that Limeline did that story. And thank you for sharing that story about one part of the meeting about the building down on Route
Oh,
156.
at the driving
Because they
range,
didn't
right?
have any of those notes
Yes.
in their meeting minutes, which was really interesting. They skipped that in the meeting minutes, but they had a lot of other things going on. So they never fully addressed setting the dates for the community outreach, which was supposed to be part of their agenda.
I can answer that question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so they're running late on the whole process because the phase 1 took longer than expected. Right now, they are working on this survey that I mentioned to this gentleman, that their consultant is putting together for them. That would be for anyone in Old Lyme to answer, how do you feel about certain residential and certain commercial ordinances and regulations, that sort of thing. I think they want that survey to go out the end of May. And then they're starting to talk about how to, one, have like kind of focus groups and workshops for anyone that, they feel should be there, but also one-on-one time. So the nonprofits have reached out and have said, we want to have time with you because we want to talk about things like temporary signs and stuff like that. So they know that we want to talk to them, but at the same time, there are some commissions like flooding, historic district, and I think there's another one, wetlands, I think, who have proactively submitted their comments.
That's
Kind of like
I'm
what
kinda
you got.
thinking, Yeah.
And I would suggest, Madeline, I think everything you've got is very important on here. But I think if we were to have a special meeting sometime during this month to go through each one, because I don't know who has read it or hasn't read it, but there's something in there about drive-throughs. We have to decide as an EDC, do we really want drive-throughs or not? Like people have strong feelings about that. So, and then there were some things that didn't come up, like I had mentioned in the email to you, EV charging stations. I don't even know if that's on their radar, but I know it was a big deal like 8 or 10 years ago when they told the marketplace they could not have Tesla charging stations.
No sense to me.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I had a
Madeline,
handful of them.
I thought that what you shared was a fantastic piece of work, and I so
Yeah.
appreciated someone putting that level of detail and looking at all of those rules and regulations, because it was I couldn't possibly have gone through all of that. So thank you so much. I guess like everybody has said, I think we should find some time and dedicate to it in the short term for the committee to get together when everybody's had a chance to, really read through it and think about it and come together and then just go through and say, what's our thoughts on this? What's our thoughts on that? And we don't have to come up with the final recommendation. We just want to be able to bring to the zoning committee, here's what we think would be most advantageous from the perspective of commercial
Economic
and,
development.
growth in our town? Or what are the things that are actually barriers to growth and retention of commercial in town? And I would be very supportive of us sending something to the zoning group for them to think about even before they invite us for it, and then having a conversation. They may not take all of our suggestions, but they should understand what the impact will be to change or not to change the current regulations.
Yeah, Eileen, I will say that I have put forward to zoning, for example, updating exterior lighting regulations, and I've basically written suggested regulations to use. I get no feedback, multiple attempts, so something's broken in the process. So I suggest with the, the very valuable summary that Madeline has put together, we review all of those, prioritize, and I'm prepared to even write a letter from the commission, to zoning, saying we see this as important to advancing the economic effects of the town. I feel that's wrong because something's drastically wrong when it's moving this slow.
Well, it's a very heavy and complex lift.
It is.
I reviewed the survey draft and it's complex. So, and I think, they're trying to develop a process. So, the funnel is going to be this upcoming process. And that's where we do things like the lighting and, other suggestions.
Yeah, and I'd love if people have things that as they're reading through that and they see that it's not included, if you could just shoot me a message, I'll kind of try to accumulate everything into one document as people have ideas. That way we can review everything like holistically in whatever meeting we decide.
All right. And I think at our next meeting, I'd like to be able that we could sit down and prioritize.
That's too late. I mean,
Yeah,
it really
I think
is.
that might be too late.
It's too late. We have to have I'm going to make a motion that we have a special meeting. I don't have time for an extra meeting this month like all of you, but we're running out of time. They're going to throw this on us the first week of June or whenever, and we're not going to be ready. So I'm making a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah. discuss.
We've done this in the past, done meetings through email communications with each other. Would that be something, do you think that could work for this situation? If Madeline's willing
New
to
to
take our
this, I
comments.
prefer to meet face to face with anybody that can. Because I do think there are some things in there that I was like, oh, I like that idea, but I don't think that would go over well in the township.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe we just need to talk that through, and maybe there's a different way to accomplish the same outcome, or to also think about how we're positioning whatever we recommend as having the zoning commission understand, here's what happens, here's how this can be advantageous to change, and here is how it is disadvantageous if we do not change this. That may be what they need to almost drive more change to some of these regulations. But if people want to try and do it by email, we can try.
What do people want to do?
I like face to face.
Hmm.
I'd be willing to come to another meeting.
It would be helpful for me to have it in person,
Yeah,
face to
okay.
face. Or even if we decide to do it via Zoom, maybe that's a good compromise too.
I think going through section by section, like section 6, restaurants and drive-through restrictions. Do we want to make a recommendation that, we have drive-throughs? We've got to decide as a group. And I love that you have the starting statement and then we can work with it.
Right.
But Mona, this is a document you're going to love. I know your style. You're going to enjoy this a lot.
No, I mean, I can tell, I was just making that suggestion if there was the concern that people don't have time to get together, because we have done that in the past.
Right.
We've been very busy. that's something that we have done in
Yeah.
the past. Some of you guys weren't possibly on the commission when we've done that. So I was just throwing it out there. I'm not opposed to getting together again in person at all.
All right, sooner rather than later seems to be the order of the day. So what's the earliest availability for everyone?
Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday works for me.
I can't.
Madeline, you're probably one of the most important people. What dates work for the two
Yeah,
of
it
you?
works for you.
It's really
What
her,
works for
not
you?
me.
Wednesdays are the best. Wednesdays
Yeah,
Okay,
and Mondays are the best days for me.
so,
no Monday for me.
all right.
So
What time?
I
was-
can't do the 13th, but I could do the following Wednesday.
The
But I
following
can-
Wednesday.
Don't.
The
don't-
20th?
don't-
Yes.
If everything works for everybody else on the 13th, go for it and I'll find a way to catch up.
15th is bus.
Yeah.
That's a good day for me.
Yeah, 13th works for me. The 20th doesn't work for me.
Me neither.
Either of those for me.
I'm just looking up the town calendar. 13th. Meeting. We could have the VFW room on the 13th,
Okay,
you know, if you. And then Eileen, if you can't make that, like sounds
Yeah,
like you,
And I'll try and
Sure,
I
you
will
can
see if I
send your
can't do it by
comments or-
Zoom. I'm still at it. Yeah, if there's
Oh,
a
yeah,
Zoom,
yeah.
I'll see what I can connect, even if it's not for the whole meeting, for a portion of it.
And what I'll probably do then is I'll circulate a link to a document. So it's an editable document. That way people can add comments for anybody who isn't able to. That way we're not just version controlling issues.
what time? Works for everyone.
you could do 5:30.
5:30.
Okay.
Do you want to email Michelle right now for the room while we're talking?
Yes.
You can keep going.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so, yeah, excuse me, Joe was a commercial district support. The biggest things that have happened since we've last met was the Blackwell Outfitters, new ownership. And also the Heritage Holdings development, which is the proposed multifamily housing on Shore Road where the driving range sits. Which unfortunately leaves the Cherry Stone megalith abandoned and sitting there. It's like, couldn't they cut a deal to like make that? So I think it's probably appropriate for us to reach out to David McCarthy, who is the Heritage Holding proprietor.
What I heard, they're coming back to the zoning committee this month. And, I listened.
There's always,
Yes, see what they have to
we'll wait to
say.
see what happens.
I thought it was nice that they offered to draft the legislation through the zoning process to make the project fit. So I thought that was generous of them to do that. So we should go to do that, see what they're doing, keep on top of it.
Okay, regional events and updates. Well, America 250th. Again, with great appreciation for Cheryl being a workaholic and leading the charge. I trust that is progressing well.
Yes.
And then community resource management, this consultant on call services. Has anyone got any thoughts on how we can best deploy that assistance? This is in the order of like 12 hours of consultants' time. I think Jeff and I are going to put our heads together and figure out what we're going to do with them.
Here right now.
No, exactly. We got to put our heads together. Right.
Is there an expiration date?
Good question, Mona. Don't know. I'll have to look into that real quick. Make myself a note to follow up.
But it's free, right?
It's free. Yeah. It's through our membership in the River
We
Cog.
should probably try to take advantage of it
Question.
since it's,
We have a
Maybe
question
that's an
from,
agenda topic, a specific agenda topic for the next meeting, to say, let's brainstorm and come up with what we think that could be. Not for the special
Okay.
meeting, for the next monthly meeting.
Right.
can we take a question from our guest?
Yes, please.
Oh, I don't have, I do have a question. You guys have talked about some of the reports with Matt and did a write-up. The first selectman was reading off some sort of draft thing. Are those online? or-
yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
our strategic plan. It's online.
Oh, it is
If you
on-
go to economic development, it's on the top left. It's the 2025 strategic plan. So that complete document, the first selectman, it's there.
I'm sorry. I've been to-
That's a great question. Yeah.
But I thought that Madden, she would just put me on her list also with
So,
getting covered.
so typically draft documents, working documents of commissions aren't public until they're approved by the commission. And so the strat plan is on there because we've approved it. but it's the working. Yeah.
I'm, you know, I don't want to break any rules or.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've listened to you here. You know, I can make some recommendations to you. I'm not going to do that tonight, but, you know, I just like to
Yeah.
know what you guys are talking about a little further.
Very good. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you. And regarding this community resource management consultant, Jeff and I will put our heads together. We'll come up with maybe a suggested deployment and we can discuss that at the next meeting. You know, decide. Sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Retention of in-town talent. I can tell you there, I have been looking hard. I'm still, I've retained my membership in the American Society for Engineering Education from my days as an engineering professor. And the AI revolution that is happening is going to be a tremendous impact on employment, on economy. And I'm thinking more and more that that is an area that we might have a good shot at gaining economic benefit from in-town activity in that industry that's emerging now. And it's gonna take an amazing toll on a lot of the intellectual type work that gets done. Whether it's engineering, legal. I just read the approval of a new nuclear power plant. This is an example. The federal government's Nuclear Regulatory Commission reviews and approves nuclear power plants. Obviously, for obvious reasons, right? It's very high risk type technology. The review process measured in years. With AI, the equivalent review process, they're talking about being able to reduce it down to 6 months. Because of all these what if scenarios, the computer can play the what if scenarios a lot faster than any body of people. So I think that there's an opportunity to defy this, you know, as much as there would be in like light manufacturing. We happen to have a gene pool in our town that is pretty damn good. You know, we've got lots of scientists, lots of engineers, lots of attorneys, lots of business people. And I think that, you know, the high school might be able to provide a segue into this opportunity, I'll call it. So that's my retention of in-town talent. We've got to keep the smart kids in town and get them working on how to deploy AI. New and other business. Anybody have anything for new or other business?
What about that? And
Ah.
the budget approval is not approved. There's we're on schedule to get a 10-hour-a-week analyst. And that would be effective July 1st. So Eileen, I'll email that to you later. So there's a draft job description that we would like you to review. We would like to edit, comment, approve at at the June meeting. So we can get the job posted, so we can have that resource available on July 1st, around July, so. So this is just for you to review and comment. Maybe you can bring comments to the June meeting, and we'll try to finalize that at the meeting. I think it aligns with our strategic plan and what we're trying to do. Based on maybe what we do in zoning mid-month next week, maybe there's some modifications on there, but it's a working draft.
Jeff did the heavy lifting of preparing this and I acted purely as the editor.
AI.
I'm sure he did.
It's a job.
Claude, I bet Claude contributed. But I see this as a very valuable asset for continuity. We set out to do things and then we run out of steam because there's only so much that we're going to do as volunteers. And this is sort of a way of keeping things rolling.
Yeah, so I think it's 10 hours, the way the budget goes, it's 10 hours a week, $19 an hour, part-time. And it's just to supplement our follow-up, what we need to do.
We have a part-time economic development person in town of Branford. And he's very active with the EDC and does a great job.
Really smart. We can poach him.
Yeah. I talked to him about coming and talking to us. He'd be willing to do that.
Okay.
He's nice.
So would
guy.
you like to work 10 hours a week for Old Line?
I don't know. I don't know how many hours he works for Branford.
He already knows the job.
Yeah.
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 You
Well,
can say something.
I mean, I hate to say this, but Branford's an easy sell if you've ever seen their Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an easy sell. Like,
Well, this would be good. He can get a challenge.
there you go. Right? No, he's a good guy. I could ask him.
I was this week is Economic Development Week. So, Connecticut Economic Development Association had a series of forums.
Mhm.
And I was on a panel, Small Business is Big Business, on a webinar. I
Mhm.
guess that's what it's called. So also on the panel was the Economic Development Coordinator of West Hartford and the gentleman from Mansfield. So just a couple of small points. Some small businesses said their biggest challenges, this won't be surprising to you, are electric costs and insurance costs, not just medical, but business and commercial insurance. And I talked about that project advocate liaison. West Hartford, they've started this thing almost like signing day for athletes, but it's for trade jobs. So this goes to your
Yeah.
they have a job fair with different companies that are looking for, kids coming right out of high school who are looking for jobs. And then they do a whole signing. It's the first year they're doing it, so I don't know all the exact things, but they make a big deal out of it.
Yes.
Like, I'm getting a job with whatever local company, construction firm or something. So I thought that was very cool. And then the last question was, what opportunities do you see? And I talked about how AI was changing the nature of small business, that you can, have it look over your whole website and, give you how to fix it, broken links, things like that. You can have it crunch numbers and do data analysis for you, but it is going to change
It's going to change.
the job market because a lot of people are being replaced and not needed, smaller staffs.
It's most devastating is going to be the code writers. People doing like AI, doing IT, whatever code
Yeah.
work. It's going to.
Marketing, right.
It's going to devastate that population.
I was teaching programming and kids were coming to me with finished products with code in it that we didn't even talk about.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's easy to write code now with AI.
I think the interesting thing about the people signing up for the trades, again, this is through the ASE that I follow, kind of like a daily newsletter that comes out. And something like only 50% of the coming of age young adults, bless you, the coming of age young adults going into, let's say, school to career, like going directly into a trade type work or technical work. the attrition's like 50%. They change direction. So that's also something that I'm paying some thought to. I'm like, okay, how do you improve, make things, improve that? They need a better idea of what they're getting into. I don't know if the fact that they're getting a different, they're getting an experience base and then they go to something else. What is the path? Is it working favorably or not? Or should there be a better alignment with what they might stay with? Okay, that's all I have. Do you have anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Okay, I will have motions. Wendy seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, go to a vote. All in favor, aye. Extension? No, we have no extensions. Okay.
The copy of
Bye, Lee.
Description.
Thank you.